Today I'm going to be doing a reaction video of Lay's video titled Ultimate Goal, Skinniest Waist. Which, let's be real, that is the ultimate goal on this channel. I'm also going to be reading you a couple of comments from the video, and the link to the video will be down in the descriptions if you want to watch the entire video. I'm just going to be watching the last 3 or so minutes of the video where she just talks about corsets. But basically the entire video is about the struggles we as women go through to achieve the perfect body type. And if you don't have like an hourglass body type, you may or may not be seen as feminine, and society puts so much pressure on women to have the perfect body, you know, the big boobs, the tiny waist, nice round hips and butt, thin legs, curvy all around, you know what I'm talking about. I 100% agree with almost everything she talks about in this video. She is like dead smack on when it comes to how society portrays women, where we are mainly objectified and the only thing that matters is our outside, our features outside, and whether or not we're seen as, you know, feminine. She does a great job at explaining this and taking you on this journey of everything you're gonna be like, yep, I agree with that 100%. But at the 5-minute mark, she starts talking about corsets, and this is where I'm like, what? Anyways, without further ado, let's watch the video.
Obsession with having a tiny waist is something that has been going on for the longest time. So Google Arts and Culture says the corset is one of the most controversial items of clothing in the history of fashion. Worn by women throughout the Western world from the late Renaissance into the 20th century, the corset was an essential element of fashionable dress. Women wore corsets for almost 400 years because comfort was judged less important than social status.
Okay, let's take a moment to take that all in. She does make some good remarks when she says that women have been wearing corsets for, you know, centuries, which is of course true, right? And yeah, corsets are probably the most controversial garments in the history of fashion. I agree with Arts and Culture, which is, I believe, who she is citing. And I don't know if these are her words or if it's the article she's citing's words, where they said something along the lines of, comfort was seen less than social status. So a majority of women back in the day did not wear corsets for waist training purposes or tight lacing, kind of like what I'm doing right now. They wore corsets to achieve a certain silhouette with their clothes. They put padding underneath to give themselves a more defined hip structure. Kind of like when we wear bras, when we wear push-up bras to push up the girls, right? We don't need to wear a push-up bra, but it kind of nicely accentuates them, especially if you want to wear a nice V-cut shirt and show off the babes. So that's what corsets were mainly worn for. They were worn to give the female body a more curvy silhouette. So just keep that in mind, please.
Corset was a status symbol because it constrained whoever was wearing its mobility, supposedly demonstrating that she could afford servants.
What? So only women of high class wore corsets because they were able to be immobile because they could afford servants. I don't think these are her words. I think this is the article's words, which I checked in her description and she didn't cite the article. She just said it in the video, Art and Culture or something like that. Again, corsets were used as undergarments. Like nowadays, how we use panties, bras, and sometimes camisoles or shapewear. They used corsets. And just because someone was low class or didn't have a lot of money back in whenever 1800s does not mean that they did not wear corsets. There are, you know, movies and TV shows that depict the servants not wearing corsets and just helping the star or the protagonist of the movie put on a corset, right? And there are some movies and, you know, history buffs who talk about low society women wearing corsets. And again, they were not wearing corsets like this to achieve a really constricted, tight-laced corset. You know, they weren't doing this. Anyways, what I'm getting at is that corsets were not just for the rich and famous back in the 1800s.
So it's now the 21st century. People are still using corsets. In like the 2011 through 2019 era, we had the trend of people wearing what's called waist trainers, which was really just a fancy word of saying corsets.
No. So she's referring to the waist trainers, the latex waist trainers that help you sweat when you're working out or going on a walk, and they have plastic boning in them. A corset, or how she says corset, 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 tomato, tomato. The main difference is that corsets have steel boning in them. Majority of them have steel boning in them, whereas the latex waist trainers that she just showed are plastic boning, and sometimes not even boning at all. And another key difference is that the waist trainers she shows, what it really targets is the water weight, whereas what corsets do is target the tissue, so fat and muscle. Yes, both may mold the body and torso a certain way, but in my humble opinion, they're not the same.
You guys remembered, but this was the thing that most celebrities and influencers would post on social media because they would get paid to do so. And some women take corset wearing to an extreme. Of course, like almost everything, some people have an extreme obsession with certain things, and so many women have made it their mission and goal to have the most tiniest waist as possible. So they are wearing them every single day. Wearing a corset though, it can be extremely dangerous because your body was shaped the way it is for a reason. And when you're constricting and changing how something was naturally shaped, you're actually changing and shoving all your organs either above or below you. Like, look at how crazy this before and after picture is.
There was a lot that was said that I side-eyed, so give me a sec. So when she said that your body was shaped the way it was shaped for a reason, I mean, yeah, you know, some people are really tall, some people are really short, some people have flat feet, some people don't. Some people have longer legs and shorter torsos and vice versa. Like, I get it and I agree. All bodies were made differently. But like, just because your body was made a certain way doesn't mean that you can't change anything about it. Obviously, love your body the way it is, the way you were born and all that, but you can change your body by working out, by eating, by doing surgery. So many people have this, I think, misconception that just because someone is doing something online and showcasing their journey means that they want everybody else and their mom to do the same thing. Like, just because I wear corsets and I'm showing you guys my journey and taking you guys along for the ride does not mean that I want everybody to wear corsets. And just because this person is eating keto and showing you their journey does not mean that they are forcing me to now get rid of my rice and potatoes. I think that nowadays people are so triggered by every single little thing, and they take all of this information and they just don't know what to do with it. And they start pointing fingers and pointing the blame at, well, you're showing me this, you shouldn't be doing that, you're triggering. How is me doing something to my body triggering to you? People nowadays are, I think it's just America, honestly, we're so sensitive, like, but we're also desensitized. It's just, let's continue. Oh wait, about this picture. So that picture is, I'm pretty sure we should all know this by now, that was trying to portray a false narrative to make women believe that corsets were bad for you. I've seen so many pictures that are similar to this that circulate online, and even, you know, doctors on TikTok are showing this picture to talk about how horrible corsets are, and it's just like, get your facts straight. Like, there are MRIs now. Like, I'm getting way too heated in this video.
This before and after picture is. That's insane. This is what we're doing to our bodies to be considered beautiful. And people are actually removing their ribs to get a smaller waist. One of the first celebrities who decided to remove one of their lower ribs was Marilyn Monroe. She wore an extremely tight corset, and in the end, after the surgery, she became the owner of the tiniest waist in Hollywood. Another celebrity that was rumored to have her rib removed was Cher. The singer literally admitted that plastic surgery was like her obsession. Back in the mid-80s, the singer removed the lower ribs and became the owner of the wasp waist, which I believe is just an extremely small waist from wearing a corset.
Okay, so I don't know if you noticed this. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, but I noticed it now. On the right bottom corner, she has an asterisk and it says allegedly. So she's pretty much talking about rumors, because I even looked up whether or not Marilyn Monroe did rib removal surgery for the smaller wasp waist, and it was said that allegedly, or it was rumored that it never like was a concrete, yes, she had rib removal surgery. And just the fact that she's using these rumors in this video, I don't know, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like, why are you gonna use misinformation in your video? Like, your video is great, babe, but then she didn't have to use that. There was, however, a model who admitted to having rib removal surgery. Her name is Pixie Fox. I'll put her link in the description. But she admitted to having rib removal surgery because she wanted a smaller waist. She was doing a lot of plastic surgery and she was open about it. But you know, just like as a YouTuber who's probably talking to younger women about these types of stereotypes that women we see today and we've always seen, we probably will always see, I just think that it's wrong to include misinformation like that. I understand that she had the asterisk with allegedly in the corner, but the majority of people look in the center of the screen, right? So if you want something to really be noticeable in your video, you're gonna put it in the center of the screen, maybe right up here, maybe right down here, not like way right here. I mean, yeah, it was pretty big font, but I don't know. I missed it, and I'm sure a lot of people probably missed it too. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
This is what women do. Because think about it. When we talk about extreme surgical transformations, who is the gender that is getting the most of these things done or is rumored to have had most of these things done? I always say that it's your body, your choice. But when the choice that you're making is negatively affecting the natural function of your body, that's where I draw the line.
I'm wearing this corset and it's not negatively affecting my body at all. This looks extremely unnatural, right? It's like very extreme, very kind of like in your face, not relatable, if you will, which everybody nowadays wants to be relatable. It's like, get over yourself. But if someone is doing something to their body, whether it be dieting, exercising, wearing a corset, doing plastic surgery, removing their ribs, and it makes them happy and it's their body, and it is no way impacting you or your body or your life, like, who really gives a shit? Like, honestly, some people do. Some people do. Like me, I care enough to respond to this video, I guess.
What he wants from us women is to have an hourglass figure, to have a tiny waist, and if we don't have that, we're not considered feminine. But the truth is that you were born the way that you were born for a reason. And there's truly nothing wrong with how you naturally look. You don't have to have a snatched, sucked in waist in order to be gorgeous. You can have a full figure or hip dips, and it's really not a big deal. There are bigger problems in the world than having an 18-inch sized waist. Just saying.
I've never liked my hip dips and I probably never will. And no matter how many people tell me, oh, your hip dips are cute, like I'm not a fan of them. If I were to go and get like, you know, plastic surgery or implants put in to create a more like rounded hip, people would be furious with me, right? Like, oh my God, you should love your body, this, that, and the other. Like, you can love your body the way you want to. If you want to keep your hip dips, go ahead. With regard to that there are bigger problems in the world than having an 18-inch waist, some of us are not really into politics and we like to live in our Delulu bubble of just us and our family and what we go through on a daily basis instead of worrying about like everything else that's going on in the world, because one, there's nothing that we'll ever be able to do about it. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. And two, I don't think that anyone should diminish one person's problem and say that this person's problem has it worse, so your problem is shit. I don't know. I never understood why people diminish each other's problems. Like, there are bigger problems in the world. You know, people are dying all around the world and you're worried about getting an 18-inch waist or you're worried about closing your corset. Like, be for real. Honey, yes, I am being for real. This is my biggest problem to date, and I am very privileged and very lucky that this is my only problem. Anyways, long story short, don't diminish other people's problems, even if they are trying to get a smaller waist. I just, you know, I don't know. There were 5 comments that I want to share with you, so let's get right into that. Okay, the first comment is, corsets and stays were the underwear of the past, only a select few tight-laced. Often before the early 1900s, dresses were shaped to give the body their ideal shape. Call it the gentle plastic surgery / Photoshop of the past. This meant the dress made your ideal shape, not the body you were born with. Movies and TV perpetuate the idea that all women tight-laced. It's the comical aspect and has been made fun of for over 300 years. If this interests you, go to your local library and check out historical dress patterns. I'm sure you'll be surprised by the results. Enough said. Next comment. Girl, I usually like your videos, but this time you really should have researched more about the corset debate. Watching a historical take on the topic might be a bit more informative. For example, most of the drawings you showed were part of a man-made propaganda, from past centuries might I add, to show how vain and irresponsible women are, when in fact corsets, if well laced and accurately fitted, are nothing more than a form of lingerie to support your body. Like a bra, you have the option to wear a push-up in order to give your bust a different shape, or a regular bra only to support it. The corset did the same job historically, and most women today who are using it regularly know that. We cannot look at people who clearly go to the extreme and blame it on the garment. Hey, the famous images of how the corset distorts the body are false today. We have better sources like radiology. Corsets were not always restrictive, as they wore pads under the corset at the hips for the hourglass effect, and the photos were often retouched to look more like an hourglass. Other than that, good video. Okay, 2 more comments. Pretty sure there were numerous types of corsets through the ages. Some and most used daily were worn more as boob support, so basically a long bra. If you were going to a social gathering or social event, you wore more of the shape-altering corsets. You were wrong about corsets. They were the old bra. I wear one every single day for comfort, for back pain. Please get a resource. Thank you. And waist trainers are not corsets. Point blank, period. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.